Xin chào everybody, my name is Viet and I'm a 19-year-old Vietnamese climber currently studying philosophy at the University of Warwick. And this is going to be the first episode in my training series. I'm going to begin with my typical week here at Warwick because there's not much to do since it's exam season. So I've created a weekly schedule, as you can see. And today I'm recording on a Sunday, which is my rest day. But normally I have 6 sessions a week, and I've split into bouldering and board because those are the 2 main facilities that I can work with here. And you can see each day my sessions are 2 hours long from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then I'll have workouts beforehand and afterwards to really utilize my day. Before we continue, I just want to give a big shout out to Zach Richardson from Richardson Climbing. He's probably the main reason why I'm doing this and starting my YouTube channel, because I've been following along his comp climbing series that you can check out on YouTube, and I'll leave a link in the description for you. He really inspired me to, just film myself climbing and falling, and this is a great way to track my progress, I think. So the main concept of this training is just to improve slowly by slowly, because I think I'm at the point where climbing becomes a lifestyle rather than just a hobby. I'm at university, so I can cook for myself, I can choose when to climb, I choose when to sleep, and I can control my diet really. And I've highlighted the word Kaizen, which is a Japanese philosophy that stands for continuous progress. And I think that's what I'm aiming for in climbing. And something that I really take to heart is that every single session is progress. Even if we're falling, even if we're, projecting a climb for 10, 20 tries, every single try is progress. So here is my Thursday session, and I'm just beginning every session with hanging to try and warm up my fingers. I think warming up is probably the most important thing for me. I remember back in the day, I'd just get on the wall, climb a V0, V1, and then start climbing. But now I'm getting quite old. I'm 19, so my fingers aren't as strong as they were. I'm quite fragile now. So I usually take maybe 10 to 15 minutes just hanging on the beast makers. And sometimes that's not even enough. So as you can see, I'll probably do some warm-ups on the board because they're really, really good holds and really good for your skin. So I don't mind wasting maybe 10, 20 minutes just mucking around on the board. And these warm-ups are really dependent on you and the way that you climb. As you can see, I'm just doing basically dynos or dynamic moves into jugs to keep my arms fresh and get them ready for a more tenuous session. I don't really have a goal in these warm-ups. I'm just falling. I'm not really pushing my limit either. I'm just seeing what works and seeing what type of session I can have today, where my limit is. Because typically, even though I have that training plan, not every day is going to look the same. I'm not going to be feeling 100%. I'm not going to be feeling like I can project something over and over, because I'm human after all. Some days I'll be tired and I can only manage maybe an hour rather than 2 hours. So I'm just testing where that threshold is right now. I think that was the end of the warm-ups, and now I'm just showing one of the climbs that I've been working on for a couple months now. It's quite a pinchy route. I think it's all pinches, to be honest, and I've named it hash browns because the holes look like hash browns. Anyways, strangely enough, for some reason on Thursday session I just couldn't do the start move, and I found it so hard to engage off that crimp into that pinch. So I'd often try it halfway through or a move in, like from here. And then the rest of the climb felt pretty natural to me, apart from the penultimate move, this move. And I just couldn't stick onto the wall for some reason. I felt like maybe I was too high, or my lower body wasn't really in place. But despite all these falls and that dry fire, every time I'm falling, every time I'm getting back onto the wall, is me making progress. Like, I'm learning these micro betas, and I'm teaching my body that it's normal to fall, to be honest, and that half of climbing is falling, and like probably like 1% is just sending what you want to send. But maybe I wasn't warm enough, so I went and did these V3s on the normal bouldering wall. This V3 is quite basic, I think. It's just using the rep with a couple crimps, toe hook finish. And I tried this like one move V3 in the mini cave. It's like a hand flip, and then the rest is pretty basic. Using that back flag to reduce weight. And then another V3 in the mini cave. I like to warm up on like easier holds because it doesn't ruin my skin as quick. Because I think I'm quite prone to flappers and like ripping my skin open, so I don't want to push myself too hard, or else I'd ruin my entire session. Strangely enough, this V3 was quite challenging until I found the right beta, which I think was a high foot start. But still, I don't think I fully optimized this climb, because you see in this next hold I'm like swing still, which is not ideal. But there's a lot of margin on these V3s. Like, I think I'm like in the V4 to V5 range. And the reason why I began board climbing, and you see I'm going back and just trying this poker move, is because I think I'm at the level where climbing isn't just, you just rock up and then walk up a V3 or V4. Like, I need to control how I climb, when I climb, and I need to train for it, or else I'm just going to keep stagnating. So this channel really, and this series, I think it's really important for me to keep myself in track and hold myself accountable. Here I'm jogging up to the hash browns project. I think it's important to try the moves over and over again, lock it into your muscle memory. And I feel like I was getting more confident with the moves, and the holds were, they finally felt okay. But still, that taking the last hold was quite annoying. But yeah, that rounded up my Thursday session because I was quite tired. So here I'm just doing my hanging, my pull-ups. I always like to wind down with some easier moves and just keep myself in check. One of the things on my training was to do 10 pull-ups daily. I think that's good discipline, helps me build muscle, and ultimately lose weight as well, which is what I really need, being a heavier climber. Okay, into Friday's session. Once again, this is at Warwick Climbing Gym. I'm quite lucky because the gym is literally like a 2-minute walk from my accommodation. And basically this entire session was a bouldering / projecting session on this orange V5. I remember when this first set came up, I tried the last move with the two big pinches that I just highlighted, and I went left into that crimp. But I found that my skin just wasn't durable enough to like hold into that crimp and then do a big last move. So later you'll see me trying just dynoing with my foot on the volume all the way to the top. But the reason why I'm highlighting this climb is because this is literally all I did for probably like an hour and a half on a Friday evening, you know. I just kept falling and falling, and I just wanted to highlight like the process of climbing and the process of projeting. It's not as simple as it looks, you know. Like going back to my Zach Richarlison example, you'll see him doing V10s and V11s and, you know, flashing a V9, but, you know, I'm maybe a tenth of his level, and like the truth is most of my sessions aren't as flashy or as technical. You can see I'm trying literally everything to hold these two pinches, which are good pinches, but I just felt like I could never hold body tension on it with the low feet, and I tried everything really, and I think I resorted to a more dynamic beta, which I think was my closest hope, but still, I don't know. It wasn't as easy as I expected it. And some of my good friends, Lucas and Joseph, they were teaching me beta as well, and they were like telling me, oh, I need to do this drop knee or this, like hold the hold wherever. But I think an important lesson in climbing is like, yeah, you just have to find the beta that works for you, because really and truly, even though climbing is such a social sport, at the end of the day, it's you that's on the wall, and like you see all these different betas I'm trying. Like none of it just works for me, I think, and the goal of projecting is to learn what works for you. And I think even though I didn't complete this climb, spoiler alert, I think it's important that I learned the moves. I learned how to hold these holds, and in the future I'll be able to apply what I've learned, rather than just like skipping this climb altogether and saying, oh, just because I can't do it in like 5 tries, I'm just going to try something easy or something softer. And I'm quite happy with the climbing at work. I think the sets are really good and really challenging, and I'm not used to these holds. I'm used to like the big macros in London, so I think I'm learning for sure. And this gym is really good for strength training, because these holds are quite, you know, quite outdoorsy, I'll say. And I'm just falling and falling, and then I ended my session with a bit of bored, because honestly, I couldn't keep wasting my skin on that V5. And I think the best way to cool down is just to stretch your arms on a board or on holds that you're more familiar with, and save my skin. And the last session of this video was yesterday, Saturday, where me and a bunch of friends, we went to Coventry, which is like a 20-minute bus ride from my accommodation. And something I wanted to highlight was sometimes the best sessions are the ones you do as a group, you know. Even though I didn't succeed on some of my goals, it was still fun being able to project with other people, learning beta, learning from others. And I think that's a key aspect in our sport, even though it is an individual sport. So I began with this V4, really nice holds, I think, but maybe this hold, like that part of the hold, is a bit hard to use, I think. I saw other people put a higher left foot, there's a jib right next to the start hold. But I was just fiddling around with this sloper thing. Nothing felt quite right, and I was just trying, I think I was trying it too statically, and what I needed to do was just use that hold as an intermediate and just pounce to the next hold, which was basically a massive jug. So I think in this try, that's what I do. V4s, there's still a bit of margin, so I'm not like pumped or too stressed that I can't do this climb. I don't think matching was the best idea, because then I had no leverage basically. And the thing I like about this gym, or both gyms actually, is that the wall is textured, so it's really easy to smear and like just feels quite comfortable in all honesty compared to my home gym back in London. So yeah, we did that before, and then I moved on to my favourite section in Coventry, this spray wall looking thing, which is set with real boulders. This was the first climb I chose, and I flashed it in a previous session, but I think I just forgot my beta. I usually had my hands the other way around with that undercling, because I could generate more with my left. Yeah, really nice setting, and a lovely jug to finish on. And then next was this. I also flashed this, but you'll see that I don't day flash it this time. The start is really challenging, as you can see, me falling. I have to full crimp those start holds, which is quite painful, and it's not really what I'm trying to be doing. Like, I should never really train full crimp, especially on the V4. Like, I need to optimize my start, and I feel like there I had a foot slip, but really I need to like engage my core and just use a tiny bit of momentum rather than really swing my whole body. And from there on, I remember my beta. It's not as complex from there. Like, all these holds are more in cut. Here I did cut loose because I think I placed my feet slightly wrong, but still easy. And then I went to another project, sort of, which I tried in a session before that wasn't filmed. This like dyno start into these crimps on the volume. I feel like the right hand is like really terrible, and like this move out to the side pull is so challenging because you almost have nothing. I think it's all in the way you place your feet, and Lucas was telling me that I had to like jam my left foot into the cave, and then Joseph was saying, oh, maybe I should use my left foot and then flag right. So there's a lot of beta, but at the end of the day, I just needed to find something that worked for me, because they aren't the same size as me, same height, like we have different styles. So yeah, here I'm trying V5 because I got tired of the other one. This is more my style, I think. I was just trying the crux move, which was like this left hand into pretty decent sloper. I'm just trying this part so I don't get pumped out, learning the sequence, and yeah, I think this was probably my favorite climb from the session. Really nice finish as well with a jug. And yeah, even though this start position was quite small and like I was kind of complaining how tight it was, like the rest of it was pretty good. I skipped that little crimp and then dyno to that jug. Then I worked my feet on the wall, and then yeah, the sequence is pretty straightforward from there. Or maybe it's just, my style. Anyways, then I went back to this V4. I remember I tried it last session and I couldn't get past the crimp. I was trying to skip the crimp and just go pinch to pinch, because I think pinches are like pretty like my style. So yeah, I'm trying the crimp and I'm trying to learn the distance, and you see me fall with it there. But I think it's this try where all I really have to do is just engage slightly harder, try a little bit harder, and just want to finish the climb.
Nice. Easy.
And here, I'm going back to the V5 project. This climb gave me a really nasty cut on my fingers. You might be able to see my middle finger. So I had to tape up, and I was just losing friction. Honestly, I was losing patience because everyone around me was climbing it, and I was like, am I really not good enough to do this? And I just kept falling and falling. I was like, okay, one more try, because I can't just keep falling and not learning. People did a heel hook here. I opted to just use my height, and here I'm using that beta where I have to use my left foot and then flag right foot. But even though it felt unnatural in that try, I just tried it again, which I think is a flaw of mine. As soon as I watch someone do something and it works for them, I just copy them because I'm just trying to do the climb. I think I do manage to hold onto that left, but then I've tried this 20 times and I'm pumped. I don't think this was the session for me to do this, especially after some weak feeling sessions. Here I stick the move, but it's desperate. And yeah, from there on I just fall. So quickly, I'm just gonna go back to my training, just to discuss the goal of this channel, I guess. One, I'm just doing it because I love climbing and I want to improve, and I also want to share my journey. I'm just an average climber, and I've only started climbing for less than 2 years. But the end goal for me really is to be a good high level outdoor climber. I want to make outdoor climbing my lifestyle really, and I just want to improve and put all this effort into real results rather than just falling and falling all the time. And I just wanted to mention that I feel like if I'm able to upload these videos, I can somewhat keep track of my mentality and not lose motivation. Sometimes when I'm climbing and I'm falling over and over for an hour and a half, I'll start complaining, or I'll lose hope, or maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I need to do this, do that. But I feel like the reason I have this training plan is to keep me in check and make sure that I'm improving rather than just stagnating and wasting my time really. Yeah.